How's it going, everybody? Got a lot of Pokemon updates in this video, so it's going to be probably a little bit longer of an episode. I finished leveling up my Onix this morning. We got it to Steelix and did some Battle Frontier grinding. I did do two waves of the Battle Frontier. I guess I lost the first one at like round 4 or something, but I just lost again. But I got to 32 wins, which I thought was pretty good. I just made some dumb decisions at the end, but how I'll kind of structure this video, kind of want to just talk about, the highlights in the beginning, because, sometimes people don't want to watch the entire video, which is fine. So talk about the Pokemon, some general overview, and then we'll go into the EV, or the IV breeding, then the EV training, kind of some difficulties and things that I did with that, some things that I made have changed. Because I did EV train in a different spot for the first time for some aspects of it. Then I'll talk about the first run of the Battle Frontier, and then the second run, and just some things I learned, some things that I changed. So yeah, we did just get to, this is, what is it, the middle of the fifth level maybe? Yeah, I didn't defeat the 5th level, but we were 32 wins though. I wouldn't say that was amazing, but it wasn't like terrible either. My performance again wasn't the best, but it still was pretty good. So here we got Steelix. It's beautiful. It's such a cool Pokemon. So those of you who don't know, you probably do, but I love Cyber Dragons. I love Metal Snakes. I love Wormcoil Engine from Magic the Gathering. I see those cards and I just want to play the game. Even now I'm I gotta play Magic, I gotta play Wormcoil. It's just so cool. Steelix pretty much does the same thing. Just metal mech snakes are just so cool. I don't understand. I don't know why, but I'm very happy to have Steelix on my team. One of my favorite Pokemon. So yeah, we got Adamant Nature. It only has one perfect IV, and it's an attack. I'll save the IV breeding for a little bit later and all the difficulties, but I just wasn't getting that lucky. Nothing really was transferring. I couldn't get HP and attack IV. It just wasn't happening. I'm happy that we got Sturdy Nature, or Sturdy ability. That already has come in handy a couple times in the Battle Frontier, where a Pinsir kept trying to use Guillotine, and didn't affect Steelix, so pretty nice there. Here are the stats. So overall stats, let's see, I gotta pull this up because I don't remember exactly. Steelix can have a max HP of 309. Sorry, max at 354. I guess, yeah, let's go here. We got 252 stats in attack. I did 132 HP and then 120 in special defense. See, that defense is already off the charts, and I wanted to kind of make sure, we didn't lose to things like Surf and, Hydro Pump and stuff like that, but kind of spoiler alert too, still Surf does so much damage. Steelix has a rough time. I think I probably should have done even more in special defense, but I don't know if that would have really helped. Max attack Steelix can have is 295, and we did get 295, so we did hit it, which just means I did everything right. But yeah, speed super low. So yeah, let's see. Stats at level 5 compared to the Smogon thing. So this is roughly perfect IVs, assuming no nature. This is what I had. So 20 versus 19 for HP. 12 and 12, that would be perfect if you have Adamant Nature. 22, 22. So the defense was almost probably perfect. Probably 30 IVs maybe 29. Special attack low, doesn't matter. Special defense a little bit low, and speed also was pretty good. So even though I think the overall stats were better than average, so whatever that is, that's the second highest tier. So not the best, but the IVs didn't seem that bad. But yeah, so move pool we got Earthquake. Got Roar. I'm still debating on this one. I'm testing it out. It was a thought I had. It's just information gathering and making sure that the Pokemon swap out if they're trying to set up with Curse or Swords Dance. It's kind of come in handy. Although I am running Choice Band recently. We'll talk about that too. It does complicate things, but it's still interesting. Explosion I do like. Comes in handy. Rock Slide as well. Just Earthquake, Rock Slide for Adamant Nature Pokemon. Pretty solid. But yeah, Steelix, sweet. So let's talk about the breeding process. So Explosion and Earthquake were egg moves. Rock Slide is also an egg move. However, I just couldn't. I had to do some other things to get a Pokemon that had Rock Slide. It was just too complicated. I just figured I'd go to the Battle Frontier and just move Tutor. That move. It is also an egg move. I just didn't do it. I just had 2 egg moves. So I luckily had So actually, if we go over here, I think I had a golem somewhere. Here it is. This golem actually was female, which had earthquake and explosion. However, it needs to be a male. So I think I ended up using one of these like Geodudes. I do not remember the actual or the exact Pokemon I did use, but it was a male. It was a male Geodude just somewhere. Aha, here you are. So this Geodude I got in the Savalt Cannon in Fire Red. It had Earthquake and Explosion, so pretty easy to transfer over. So you just put this Pokemon in the daycare. I had a female Onix, and then they just start transferring. So real quick, in case you don't know, because I didn't really know this prior. I mean, I did, I guess, but I didn't know the optimal strategy. So you need your, I guess real quick, you can breed Geodude with Onix because it's the same egg type, you know, so that's why you could do that. But ultimately, you want to get your female Pokemon with the correct nature. So I want an Adamant. Then you put the Everstone on that, you know. So all these females that I kept had Adamant nature pretty much, except for like this one, because this one had two good IVs. But then you need your male Pokemon to have the egg moves that you want. So there kind of comes in this weird situation where you need to put in your other Dittos or your other Pokemon with good IVs, and then kind of breed for either a better female Pokemon with the beneficial nature you want, or you breed for a better male Pokemon with the egg moves. So there's like this, you got to pick a path. So I started with, or maybe you don't have to pick a path, but the way that I'm trying to solve this problem, I think you have to pick a path. I initially started with the female beneficial nature Onix, or Pokemon that I chose. So I kept the female Onix in at first, and I kept putting in different Dittos, trying to make those Dittos transfer their IVs to the Onix. I was not able to get the Dittos to transfer both attack and HP. It was either one or the other. I spent so long doing this. Eventually, I was like, I don't know. I don't understand what's happening. It was not working. Like it was actually probably 10 or 15 hours where I couldn't even get 2 IVs to transfer. So then I decided, you know what? Let's go with the male Pokemon route. So then I started with the good male. I've had a couple over here. Some good males, but like this one had some good stats. However, this one was the original one, and it didn't have the moves that I needed. One thing to note too is, I gotta be careful what I say here, but if you put the male Pokemon with the egg moves you want in the daycare, and that Pokemon levels up where those moves get erased, those original egg moves that you had, or the moves that the Pokemon originally had, when you put it in the daycare, will still transfer over if they're egg moves, obviously, even if they get erased through leveling within the daycare. That is something that I've noticed. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like it shouldn't, but I think that's a good feature they added in the game. So one thing to keep in mind. But if you do remove that Pokemon, obviously the male, then you put it back in the daycare, then you can't transfer those moves. I'm almost positive of that. But that was just some observation that I had, because I never really did egg moves before, or long enough to see if they get erased when they level up. But anyway, I was not getting luck transferring over IVs to the female, so then I just figured let's try transferring IVs to the male with the egg moves. That really wasn't working out either, and I kind of was like, I'm just really itching to get back in the game. So I eventually just settled on this one Steelix, just a singular perfect IV, which, I mean, again, I wanted HP and attack, and I guess I really would like the special defense. It's just so weak to special, or it's just not, the special defense stat is so low. But yeah, it's what we did. So it's what I did. So at about 415 hours in Fire Red is when I transferred the Onix that I was going to train from Emerald to this game. First thing I did is quite typical. I'm going to put a bunch of vitamins on it. However, I realized I didn't have enough vitamins. So heading over to Celadon City, we picked up like 30 vitamins. I think at least 30 vitamins. We had the money for it because I kind of prepared prior to this by defeating a lot of trainers on, was it 5th Island, where all those rich people are. So I used 10 proteins, increased the attack EVs to 100, and then I did the HP. We got 100 EVs now in the HP stat. And then I also did the same thing with special defense, put 100 in. So when that was all done, we got 300 EVs already done, out of the way. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I decided to pick these 3 EVs because, I mean, obviously attack, because I want this to be a physical attacker. HP, it's just overall for a defensive stat, it's just the most well-rounded. I didn't put anything in defense because Steelix's defense is already off the Richter scale. I needed to put additional points in the special defense to ensure that it survives from things like Surf, Hydro Pump, because water types are 2 times weak to this Pokemon. And obviously, I mean, even though it's a physical attacker, I'm not putting any points in speed because it's already a super slow Pokemon. Like that, those additional points in speed, in my opinion, aren't going to have that big of an impact. Over here, I do end up showing Onix's stats level 5. However, these technically aren't the stats because I already put the EVs in. That kind of messes around with it a little bit. So here's a screenshot, actually. I somehow found this in a live stream that I did. I do have the stats level 5. So this is kind of more proof. I think we talked about it earlier in the video, but if we were to use Small Gun's table to identify roughly perfect or very high IVs, HP should be 20, attack should be 12 with an adamant nature, defense would be 22, special attack 9, special defense 11, and speed 13. So defense and speed are actually kind of high, and attack obviously was perfect because it's perfect IV. And then use some PP ups on Earthquake because it's just going to help with the training process a little bit quicker, just having some more moves to use. After that, we headed on over to Viridian Forest to defeat some Caterpies. So we only need to defeat 16 Caterpie here because I was targeting 132 EVs. So, and we already have 100 from the vitamins, and I have the Matcha Brace on. Every Caterpie gives 1 EV point. So defeating 16 of them, get that out of the way. Still no shiny Caterpie. Hopefully one day it shines for us because it's a beautiful, beautiful one. So after defeating 16 Caterpie, then I typically will head to Mount Moon in the basement floor intermediate zones there for Paris. However, from my last video, the Tyranitar video, someone recommended going to one island, and there's a whole bunch of karate chopping martial artists that have Pokemon like Machamp and Primeape, and they all give attack EVs, so I actually decided to head to there. So again, you can get 252 EVs per stat. We already used 100 from the vitamins, so we have 152 left. And the Matcha Brace does double the EVs, keep that in mind. So one thing to note, the Pokemon here, we got Primeape, Machamp, Machoke. I think there's like a Mankey too. So Mankey gives 1, Primeape gives 2, Machoke gives 2, but Machamp gives 3. So every time we defeat a Machamp, we're getting 6 EVs. Crazy. This definitely sped up the process a lot, like pretty quickly. I mean, I did have to kind of keep switching out from Onix, but I mean, that really wasn't a big deal because with the amount of EVs you end up getting, pretty ridiculous. Also, if you do need to heal, you just run over there in that little cave, go in the spring, and you're rejuvenated. So really good spot in general. I think this is also a pretty good spot to probably train too. Like, I like the place in the Savalt Canyon, but this is, I think I might give this a try. I think it would be cool, probably a future video, to spend an hour in each spot and see how much XP you roughly get, and I guess money too. Just kind of get this data. I mean, I don't want to like min-max this game, but I think it's just sometimes it's kind of cool to know. But anyway, after we did all the attack EVs, Onix hit level 35. So the only thing left was to do some special defense. So there was about 20 EVs remaining, so I just went over here on the side, and there's a whole bunch of Tentacool that has like I think a 99% spawn rate, and Tentacruel has a like 98. Not 98, I meant like 1%. But in general, this zone is a 100% chance of getting special defense EV. So defeated 10 Tentacool, and then that completed the EV training. Onix hit level 37. After that, headed over to the Savalt Canyon, whatever, and we did what I usually do. Just stood there and grinded these trainers and the battle in the grass for a very long time. But yeah, this morning we finally did do it. I did stream probably like 4 hours of, maybe not 4 hours, but like some amount of hours of that whole level grinding. Sometimes it's kind of like watching paint dry, but you know, it's kind of fun. So after getting Onyx to level 99, I decided to bring it over to Emerald. I had the metal coat in Fire Red, so I did trade, obviously, Fire Red Emerald with the metal coat. And I did use my modded Game Boy with the analog pocket with that cable, and it did work. I don't know why it wasn't working like the last month or two that I tried it, but anyway, it works. So I misspoke in my one analog pocket review video. I did record that, however, okay, I meant to record it, I just never clicked play or record on the actual camera, so I don't have that footage. Very sad, because it would have been cool just to, you know, have for the video watching Onyx evolve from Steelix. Don't see it too often. Obviously, you just need the metal coat, and it's not like the easiest or most common item. But anyway, once we had Steelix in the game, we just gave it a rare candy and got to level 100. And then I went to check the TMs to see if I had anything I really needed, but I didn't. So ran over in the Battle Frontier to the move tutor next to the Battle Dome. Ended up giving the Steelix, or making the Steelix learn Rock Slide. And I did make it learn, not Protect, Roar. I already had the Roar TM, so I just threw that on. And the idea behind the Roar is just, again, if there's a cursing Pokemon, if there's nothing really going on and I want to get some more information, I think using Roar, seeing what's going on, I think it has a place. We'll see how it actually, you know, if it actually is worth it, but that's the thought process there. I also made some moves on Dusclops, so I took out Nightshade and I taught it Seismic Toss, so we ran back over the Battle Dome, or next to the Battle Dome, and had the move tutor ladies teach it Seismic Toss. It's just a lot better of a move for, there's gonna be so many more normal types than Ghost, so overall I think Seismic Toss is just a better move. But at Nightshade, I do love same thing, like Nightshade and Will-O-Wisp. I just like the flavor. I feel like Dusclops, those are the moves it should have. You know, we gotta pick our battles here, and I really want to win, and I think Seismic Toss is a better move. I did end up going to, I didn't really record the footage, but I did run over to Lily Cove City and bought some Protect TMs, and I did teach Protect to Dusclops in replace of Confuse Ray. Definitely a good decision here. The Protect just works or synergizes so well with Pressure and the Leftovers. So overall, I think a really good decision, and it's shown to have been a lot more beneficial than Confuse Ray. So definitely happy with that move so far. I did take off the Focus Band from Shiny Charizard and put that on Steelix, and kept the Leftovers on Dusclops, and I did end up keeping the Quick Claw on Tyranitar. The Focus Band in my head somewhat made sense because I just figured it would be good for Steelix to maybe live a little bit more. I forgot the initial reason why I did this, but anyway, I went with Focus Band. I wanted to see how this would run. So at 190 hours, we headed over to the Battle Frontier, and then we started grinding. One thing to note too is through all these runs and battles and levels, I always put Steelix first because I wanted to test, I don't know how to explain this. I wanted to test like my thoughts about adding Steelix to the team. Like I want it to be a sweeper where it takes something out and then it just uses Explosion or Roar and either gains more information or just uses the Explosion and wipes out the next Pokemon. This way it's like a 2v1 in a sense. I wanted to test that like thought process. And also I want to see how Steelix performs. So, you know, throwing him into the battle, throwing her into the battle the whole time right in the beginning, I think is a little bit better of a way just to, again, get that, learn about how Steelix is going to fit within the team a lot more quickly. So this first battle that we're watching here, this is actually the 29th battle of the first run. Now that I'm thinking about it, is this this might be Tuber Craig again. Tuber Craig always mauls me. But anyway, Tuber Craig, probably was him, had a Milotic and a Kingdra. Like, come on, these water types is ruthless. Didn't even get to see what the third Pokemon was. But anyway, I made some misplays here and stuff, and I could have done a little bit better of a job. But the Kingdras, man, you just need an answer for. You got to deal with it. They're brutal, but I wasn't able to get through it. Yeah, and again, that was the first time running Steelix, throwing her in the first time in the party. So I think I did overall kind of good. I mean, it obviously wasn't, you know, the best, but I think for a first run, it wasn't terrible. The second run we had got to 32, so kind of on the 5th level. I'm not really even too sure. This match was going kind of good. I defeated the Shuckle pretty quickly. Then dude sent out Ludicolo. And man, again, Steelix, I really was hoping would be able to tank these like water moves a little bit better. I don't know. Actually, so backing up a little bit, the second run of the Battle Frontier, I did put the Choice Band on Steelix. So again, this raises the move that you use by 1.5. However, you can only use that move. And I did change Tyranitar's item from the Quick Claw to the Scope Lens, which increases your crit chance. Kind of want to see how that ran. We'll talk about that in a little bit more. I want to just talk about this match. But yeah, so Ludicolo wiped out Steelix pretty quickly. I sent out Dusclops, and Dusclops kind of handled Ludicolo. It took a little bit, but we ended up doing it. And then the dude sent out Caesar, and the Caesar set up the Swords Dance and just annihilated my Dusclops. I don't even know if there's something I could have done here, because Tyranitar is weak to Steel, and even getting that one Swords Dance up getting the Swords Dance up was pretty critical. Even if I sent out Tyranitar, like, I don't know, even if I swapped Dusclops and then sent out Tyranitar, I don't think it would have mattered. I just think, I mean, maybe it would have, obviously, but it's hard to tell now. But looking back, I wonder if that would have even made it, like, change anything. So that Caesar just wiped me though. But yeah, the second run I think was pretty good. I think going around again, I think we could do a lot better. But again, we're learning what the team is now and the decisions we need to make, and we're learning all the different aspects of the team. It's gonna take some time to develop that knowledge and how to apply it. But anyway, I want to talk about the Choice Band really quick. So initially, I didn't like the Choice Band, and it does combat with RAR and I think what I want Steelix to kind of do in a sense. But at the same time, I can't ignore that like 50% buff in damage. Like that sometimes is make or break. So I love hate Choice Band. I don't know how I really feel yet, if I think it's essential for let's say Steelix in particular, but I like it enough to keep. I want Steelix to be able to use RAR and then maybe Explosion, So, and Choice Band makes it impossible to do that. I was also thinking of maybe putting the Quick Claw on Steelix, so if I do swap in the Steelix and we want to just bust out an Explosion really quick, it has that chance of doing so. But I think Choice Band is just a better item. Definitely decisions I got to think about in the future. I do want to talk about Dusclops, because Dusclops is just like a beast. I am always impressed on the performance of this Pokemon. So there was one, I don't think I recorded the match, but there was one match where Dusclops had to literally 1v3, and he did. Or she did, I forgot what the Pokemon is. She 1v3'd. Crazy. Just the stall, the toxic, the just chilling, it does it all. So Dusclops, absolute beast. One thing I do want to discuss is that the Protect, like the Seismic Toss, I didn't see that much. I mean, there was some cases where there was there was a couple Clefable and there was like Chanseys. So Seismic Toss did actually work because you could use it in Nightshade. You can't use it against those normal types. But I really want to highlight Protect in these situations, because there's a lot of, so Milotic typically, I think Milotic and Kingdra usually have Hydro Pump. And for some reason, I versed like 4 Vileplumes throughout this route, or these 2 runs, and they all have Giga Drain, which I mean isn't that bad of a move, but it's kind of good against Tyranitar. But they have low PP, so if you have Pressure and then you use Protect, like it's just crazy, because you can just remove all their PP from their moves, stall them out, and then they have like no moves left. So there was a time when Vileplume and Kingdra or Milotic would use their Hydro Pump, so they would lose 2. I would use Protect, they would lose 2 more again, and then if they used it again, maybe they hit, maybe they didn't, I don't know, usually it missed, then they're out of their moves, and then they just use all their other garbage moves, because they're actually not running a whole lot of like actually attacking moves, because their plan is like set up into those So that is also one thing I did notice, and the protect with the pressure combo is lethal, and especially getting that a little bit of additional health back from the leftovers, it is like literally game changing. So definitely happy with that decision. And also again, thank you for the people who also suggested that. It was definitely needed. One also small but yet big thing with the addition of Steelix is that Sandstream doesn't affect it. With the previous build I had with Salamence, I had the focus band on, or the focus stash. I forgot what it's called. I gotta look. Okay, it's the focus band. I don't know why I keep saying focus stash. I don't know what that is. Maybe I do. But anyway, I had Sandstream and then Salamence had the focus band. So, like, if Sandstream is up and the focus band procced, it actually didn't proc. It just died. So that was kind of just like some dyssynergy. But now that we have Steelix, it doesn't get affected with Sandstream, so it's just even better. And technically, Dusclops doesn't get affected either. It does, but it has leftovers, so it kind of cancels out in a sense. It can still die to Sandstream, but typically it won't. I have noticed also, for some reason, this run around, there's definitely been several Pokemon that do have the focus band in the Battle Frontier. A lot of them are using Endure as well. There's also one other thing where they keep getting like 1 HP. Having Steelix on the team with Sandstream, it just feels more, there feels like there's a lot more synergy. So again, just another thing that I'm noting. I do really love though when Sandstream is up with Dusclops, because even if Dusclops just stalls, rests, protects, even if we don't get a Toxic off, we're still chipping away with the Sandstream. So again, there is some, it stinks that Dusclops is losing health, but at the same time, again, he's got leftovers. We can stall it out. So typically the other Pokemon's going to lose a little bit more health over time. But so far, I really do like Steelix on the team. Oh, Steelix just looks so cool too. Like the sprite just standing there looking all cool. Like, it's awesome. I do want to continue the section of the video where we kind of discuss some comments. We're only going to really bring up one comment for today's video. But if you have any good questions or anything that you want some, I guess, more opinions on or something, definitely leave that in the comments below, and I will consider it for a future video. So this comment says, I'm losing motivation on the game, already completed the Kanto Pokedex and now playing Emerald to complete the rest. What else can you do in Fire Red? Is it worth it to EV train if there's no objective? How do you stay motivated? I want to address the latter part of this question, just how do you stay motivated? I mean, what else can you do in Fire Red, Leaf Green? I mean, again, the Battle Frontier is massive, you do all the Pokedex, but you can just, train Pokemon for fun. You can also like shiny hunt and stuff too. I mean, there isn't like an infinite number of things you can do, but just, enjoy the game for kind of what it's worth. But I think if you need an objective though, the Battle Frontier is probably the biggest thing, or, again, getting shinies. But how do you stay motivated? I thought that was kind of like an interesting question, because I don't see this game as something where I need to like force myself to play or need to enjoy, if that makes sense. Like, I play this game to take myself away from like other things in life, if that makes sense. Like, this is my like comfort game. So I don't come to this game feeling like I need to achieve something, or like I'm not forcing myself. Although more recently, because I've been making videos on it, I think I have been putting more pressure on myself to play the game more to get this content out. So I definitely acknowledge that. But I don't feel motivated to play the game because I just play the game when I want to, and if I don't want to play the game, I'm not gonna play. So I never overwork myself or play any of these games enough to where I feel like I don't want to play the game anymore, if that makes sense. If you're playing this game a lot and grinding and it's starting to get to you, I think the easiest thing to do is probably just take a break from it and then, come back in a little while and it'll be super fun. I guess that's my take on it, because there's been like, again, the last like decade or so, like there's been times where it's been like months or even like a year where I just don't play the game. And it's not because like I hate it, it's just not the vibe. So how do I stay motivated? I just play the game. I think it comes down to the type of relationship that I have with the game. And it's not something that I feel like I ever force myself to do. But anyway, I thought that'd just be kind of an interesting thing to chat about and get anybody else's take on it. Like, do you guys feel like you need to motivate yourself or like feel inspired to play the game? Or is it something that you just pick up like, a couple hours every week or Or is this something like you pick up like once a night for like a half hour and you just, play before you go to bed? Just kind of curious, how other people's relationships are with this game. Anyway, though, that is really all I think I have for this video. I will be continually grinding the Battle Frontier, so we will probably update, maybe like, probably not next week, but probably like in 2 weeks, kind of chat about some progress, some things that I'm noticing, and how Steelix is adapting to the team. But anyway, thanks for sticking around for the updates. Definitely, if you haven't already, check out all the other updates on the channel. We got a lot of other Pokemon that we train, as well as things that we've accomplished in these games. Take care, everybody. I will see you all in another video.